Imagine standing at the altar, the music playing softly, your heart pounding with joy, and then hearing these words whispered behind your back, "He's gone. The groom's gone." That's exactly what happened to Amelia, and what she did next turned the whole town upside down. The sun rose over the little town of Willow Creek, casting a golden glow over its quaint streets and ivy-covered cottages. The day had finally come, the wedding day of Amelia Hayes and Derek Walters. It was the event of the season. Everyone in town was talking about it. Amelia, glowing in her silk robe, looked like she had stepped out of a fairy tale. Her bridesmaids buzzed around her, adding final touches to her makeup and hair. Derek was the town's golden boy, handsome, wealthy, charming. He was the kind of man mothers wanted their daughters to marry. Amelia had met him at the community library where she worked. He was researching a business proposal. Their connection had been instant. 6 months later, he proposed at the town's winter festival with a diamond ring so big it sparkled from across the street. Amelia said yes through tears, laughter, and applause from everyone watching. Everyone said they were perfect for each other. Everyone, except one person. As Amelia walked down the aisle, arm in arm with her father, everything felt like a dream. The aisle was covered in rose petals, the string quartet played their soft melody, and everyone turned to see the radiant bride. Except the groom was missing. The officiant looked confused. Amelia's father whispered, "Maybe he's just nervous." But then the whispers started. Murmurs spread through the pews. A bridesmaid walked up to Amelia, trembling. "He's not here," she whispered. "He's gone." Gone? What did that mean? Had he left the venue? The groomsmen looked at each other, uncertain. His best man, Marcus, stood pale as a ghost. Amelia turned to him and demanded, "Where is Derek?" Marcus couldn't answer. Amelia's mother fainted. Guests were escorted out. Some cried. Others gossiped. Everyone stared. The groom had vanished. No note, no explanation, no phone call. News spread like wildfire through the town. The headlines the next day read, "Runaway groom leaves bride at the altar. Derek Walters missing or hiding." But the bride? She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She didn't hide. She did something no one expected. She walked out of the chapel, climbed onto the stage at the reception, took the microphone, and smiled. "I want to thank you all for coming, and while today isn't going as planned, I've decided the reception will go on, with or without the groom." Everyone was stunned. Then the music played, and the party began. People drank, they danced, they laughed nervously, but Amelia, she danced like she was free. But deep down, Amelia was broken and furious. She couldn't believe Derek had just left her. She tried calling, nothing. She tried messaging, no reply. His apartment, empty. His office, closed. But something felt off. It wasn't just cold feet. Why would Derek disappear without taking anything with him? His clothes were still in his apartment. His car was still in the parking lot. She remembered what Marcus had said in a drunken toast at the rehearsal dinner. "If people knew the truth about you, Derek, they'd run faster than you did in track meets." At the time, it sounded like a joke. Now, it felt like a warning. Amelia decided to dig deeper. She started looking into Derek's past. She drove 2 hours away to a town Derek had once mentioned casually, Maple Hollow. There, at a flower shop, she saw something that made her gasp. A picture. Derek, with another woman, holding a toddler. "Is that your husband?" she asked the florist. The woman blinked. "Yes, that's my husband, Aaron." Aaron. Derek had another identity, another family. Amelia stood there, shaking. Her groom wasn't just a runaway groom. He was a liar, a cheater, a criminal. But why propose to Amelia? What was the end game? She went home and dug through everything.
In one of Derek's old drawers at her place, she found something odd. A bank statement. Withdrawals, big ones, transferred to offshore accounts. Over $500,000 missing. Her breath caught in her throat. Derek, or Aaron, wasn't just a runaway groom, he was a con man. He had charmed his way into her life, proposed with a fake name, and tried to marry her so he could access her family estate. Her parents had recently sold property worth millions and were transferring the money into her name as a wedding gift. He disappeared just before that transaction was completed. But why vanish? Unless he wasn't running from her. He was running from someone else. Amelia contacted a private investigator. Within days, he came back with news. Derek, or Aaron, had ties to a small criminal organization involved in identity theft and fraud. But he had been cooperating with the police. Maybe too much. He'd turned informant. And now, he was hiding for his life. Amelia's wedding wasn't abandoned out of fear of marriage. It was a cover. He used the wedding to disappear. 3 months passed. The town eventually quieted. Amelia rebuilt her life. She started writing about her experience anonymously on a blog. It went viral. She was offered a book deal, interviews. She turned her tragedy into a story. But then, one night, she received an envelope on her doorstep. No return address. Inside, a single photograph. Derek, alive, somewhere in South America. Behind him, a woman and a child. Not the same ones from Maple Hollow. He was still conning, still running. Amelia stared at the photograph, her hands trembling. On the back, scribbled in pen, "Thank you for letting me go. You saved me in more ways than you'll ever know." Amelia smiled softly. She folded the photograph and placed it in a drawer. Then she logged into her bank account. A new deposit, $100,000. No sender name. Was it guilt money? A thank you? Hush money. She didn't care. She used it to start a nonprofit foundation for women affected by fraud and emotional abuse. And the town? They never forgot the bride who turned her heartbreak into power. She became a symbol of strength, of revenge through success, of resilience. Sometimes what looks like the end is really the beginning of something much more powerful. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and tell us where you're tuning in from. And remember, behind every twist is a choice, and behind every heartbreak, the chance to rise again. Subscribe for more stories that keep your heart racing and your mind spinning.